Hello, my loves. I'm Ellie Frost. Thank you so much for being on my channel. I appreciate you. Thank you for the likes, subscribes, comments, and shares. We are talking about the multidimensional way to rapidly heal and transform from narcissistic abuse and also create your best life, because the tools I teach you are, yes, using healing modalities and elevation of consciousness, but beyond that, I'm teaching you personal development tools that help you manifest and create a much better, more aligned life. Aligned meaning with your authentic power, with your truth, with your desires, with your heart, right? What you actually want. And when we're traumatized and going through abuse cycles, we can't connect to our future because trauma just keeps you wondering what's going to happen next and dealing with the now moment rather than basically creating, because we create through our desires, through our ability to dream, imagine, consider possibility and potential. We can't do that in abuse cycles very often because we're so trapped in the fight and flight response and can only use our energy for the here and now. It's an energetic universe. We have to understand emotions and energetics, because healing that, right, is what transforms us. I'm running a program right now. I am still letting people in until probably April 1st is at the moment, I think, the cutoff for this round, right? The course will be going on beyond that. You get to keep it for life, but I'm supporting it live, right? It's not live. You get to do everything self-paced in your own time, and all over the world there are people in there. But what it means is if you comment, I'm supporting you, and I do live Q&As where you get to submit questions and I'll answer your questions. So if you don't have to join me on the live Q&A, but I read the questions and I give you specific answers. So the first Q&A is on Friday, so I would join that, and especially because of what I'm going to tell you, right? So one of the most disheartening things is that we get out of an abuse cycle, or we break away. So many of you have commented on this recently. You break away from a narcissist and then they're flying monkeys, enablers, or, so that's the gang stalking piece, or other narcissists just target you. Now, remember what I'm teaching you. This is an energetic universe. Everything works in consciousness. So this energy, so they're a soul detached human shell that's cooperating with a consciousness that's working through them. What that means is that consciousness knows who to target, and it's the consciousness that's targeting you, not necessarily that individual narc. So I had this where I kept getting bigger and bigger demons coming at me because the consciousness knows. It's an awareness that they all share. They might not know that in their minds, but that's what's going on, right? And so you'll find that people turn on you. It's like night and day. It is unreal. Suddenly people who it doesn't make sense. I had a whole community turn on me. I had to move house. I lost everything. It was a disaster. But it's the consciousness working through them. They've got weak energetic fields and it's got a hold of them. So it's it doesn't make sense on the human level, because in your mind you're like, but I've known these people, I've cared for these people, I've talked to these people, they know who I am, they know I'm a nice person. What's happening? It's a consciousness working through them. And when you understand what I'm teaching you here in the dynamics, it's so obvious, it's just undeniable. So that's why. Now, a lot of you think, and I see a couple of comments, well, I broke off, I cut contact, I healed, and I'm going to tell you why you haven't healed, why that's not quite it yet. If you're still attracting them, I've thought the same. I've been here. I've been at the point where I'm like, how is this real? How is what is happening? How am I ever going to break free, right? And you don't know until you know. But so a lot of people will think, well, I've got rid of the narcissist in my life. Yeah? I've broken the psychic attack, or I've done a good job of that. Yeah? But they're still coming at me. And now I'm being financially abused over here. And now other people in the community are coming at me. And now I've hired someone who is also a narc, because you're not sovereign. If you've got $555 available to you, come into Sovereign. It will change your life. It is the work that changed my life in such a crazy way. It's nothing. Coaches, I mean, it is it's not nothing if you haven't got the money, but believe me, in the hardest time of my life, I started putting myself in rooms. As soon as I got money in, every penny, I stayed in a trailer for another 2 years, a trailer, living a very basic life to make sure I invested in my growth. I have taken everything I've spent money on, learned, incorporated, and had to develop into my own body of work, because no one taught me about narcissistic abuse and how to integrate trauma into personal development, because personal development alone does not work with traumatized people, right? And normal tools on relationships and intimacy and emotional intelligence do not work on narcissists. So I had to understand something very different. And so I've put that together in Sovereign. You get to keep it for life, but I'm supporting it live until April 17. Right? You need to email me, because I'm going to take the link off the website. And if you're in America or globally, there's going to be different links for you to pay with, right? But I mean, it is nothing in terms of investment. Now, if you haven't got money, keep watching these videos. They will elevate your consciousness. I've been there. But I also got to a point where I decided to prioritize my growth, that this stops here, right? And there were months, I would say over a year, where things were not working. And it looked like I was just putting money into nothing, but there was no other choice, right, for me. So if you've got it, come in, because the reason you're attracting them, the reason they keep coming at you, you're not sovereign. You might have externally changed. This is the piece, right? What you've done normally is, so I've done this before, right, where I've kind of cut psychic ties. I am now maybe doing better. My abundance is flowing a bit better. My money's coming in a bit better. I'm doing better in my business. My energy's a bit better, but I'm still not fully sovereign. I haven't really changed my energetic field. So I've done external changes, not internal ones. Sovereign is about authentic power, your values, your heart, your boundaries, heart healing, trauma release in a way that you do not ever have experienced, because I'm giving you the energetic to transform. And at that point, the rest of it just releases. It's not like any other trauma release work, because we don't use the mind in it, really. In terms of what you let go of, you just come into your heart. You come, like I keep teaching, like self-love, self-worth are a natural response when you come into authentic power and sovereignty. Yeah, because you automatically love yourself and value yourself when you're not betraying yourself every day, when you're being true to yourself. And then when you open your heart, which is what we go into at the end of the program, and first we heal the heart, but when you've done that, right, then you can open your heart again and actually connect to what you want in your life, which desire from the heart, not the ego, from the heart, is the strongest energy on the universe, which means that you become an extraordinary manifester to everything you want. But while you're traumatized, you don't know what you want. And when you keep attracting narcissists, you're in this everyday battle. So the answer to what this question is you're not sovereign. You're not a sovereign energetic. It's energetics we have to understand. Your energy is not sovereign. You might have done a lot of steps and now you've improved your life externally, but you haven't made the shift consciously, a consciousness shift, a spiritual awakening. All of this is part of the sovereign process. And internally, to come into authentic power, values, the standards, the boundaries of your life. Because of that, you're still attracting them and still being targeted, because it's not the external changes we make that are enough. That's why I teach you going no contact's not enough. You've got to break psychic ties, no consent in the energetic field, but then there's a void, because who are you? You haven't been yourself for so long. Now you've got to come into authenticity, which I teach you in Sovereign, your heart, without defense mechanisms, your truth, right? And your authentic power, which means living in a way that is in integrity with who you really are, not who you think you've got to be, not in relation to what you've been through, having the emotional intelligence to process your emotions, sit with pain, have been a beautiful I call it self-focused, right? Which isn't selfish, because when you're self-partnered and self-focused, that when you actually healed, all you want to do is give, all you want to do is share, all you want to do is contribute, because you're safe to, you're boundaried enough, you know what's for you, what's not, and your energy's so clean. Yeah? You're not in any kind of enmeshments and entanglements that's like kind of needy or sticky or icky. It's just clean. You know who you are, you know what you want, you know what you don't, you know where you stand. Nothing else can come at you, or very little. So if you can come into Sovereign, I highly recommend it. If you want to work, whatever you're doing, you need to be, well, by listening to these videos, it will start doing it. It will move it for you. So if this is all you can do for now, just invest your time. That's an investment of time. That's the first place to start. Time is one of the most valuable investments we'll give, right? Because you can't get your time back on this planet. You'll always be able to build more resources financially and materially, but you won't get your time back. So if your only investment is time, keep watching many times. Be the best student you can, because it will raise your consciousness. And when you raise your consciousness, you attract more abundance. And if you've got the 555, it is nothing. It is absolutely nothing for 6 modules that you will have to repeat for life, and for the breakthrough you'll get that takes people years and they never even get there. So that's what I'd say to it. Like, take the opportunity. I'm going to close this round out. 1st, 2nd of April will be the last time you can actually get into this round, right? So I would highly recommend that you do that, because it's not something I can explain to you. That's what the problem is. You're trying to think this when you've got to feel it and shift the energy. And I hold you in a very powerful container where I'm not just giving you trainings, but there are trainings. I'm not just giving you energy clearings and activations, which are a bit like meditations, but they're there. I'm also, the whole time you're in there, I'm focused on you. I'm using my energy to move it, right? Everything I do is intentional to a high level. I already know how to shift you through the field I hold, through the vortex I hold. And everything is like, even the numbers, 555, right? So it's not to be superstitious, but that's called an angel number. If you know about synchronicities and manifestation, 111, you can work with the divine and ask for signs. 555 is the master transformational number. Now, it doesn't mean you have to charge that to make transformation in people, but everything's got a consciousness, including numbers in our universe, right? So when I intentionally choose that, I am now tapping into the collective consciousness of that 555. It means something very significant. 555 is the master transformation number in the universe, right? So I'm tapping into that consciousness intentionally, using that. There is stuff in science showing, for example, there's a thing called a hive mind. Yeah, which means when people come together with the same intention, there's a different result. We know this from prayer. If you think about it, if someone's sick or whatever, we pray for them. And when a collective prays, it holds enormous power, because you're activating something in the energetic field. Yeah. Same with if you come into a container like Sovereign. All of us have I've got a very strong intention for what, and my energy is very, very powerful when I'm intending something, right? I'm holding that, but everyone there is intending. So you're capitalizing on all of that energetic. It's absolutely the most transformational way to evolve. You can't just, it doesn't compare to anything else, right? This work I'm doing here, sharing with you every time you hear me, is powerful. But if you want to go to the next level and really want to bust out, come into that right now, because it's an opportunity. And my opportunities, people sometimes mistake my world because I don't work like other people. I do other things. I've worked in business. I help visionaries all around the world, right? Really big leaders coming into their vision on the planet for humanity. So this isn't my only part of what I do, right? So when I offer something, you won't be able to come in forever. Not because I don't love you, because I've got a big purpose that I'm on the planet. And there's other people I support at different levels, all different levels. I want to help the masses with this. I will commit to this. I will keep posting every day for you. I'm committed, right? But I'm also committed to the people I work with privately, sometimes on trauma release, like you guys. There are some single sessions I think I've opened up again. If you want a trauma release session one-on-one, there's a few a month I'm going to keep open. I've decided, because I closed that down, but I feel I will keep some. So I do that. And I also work with people like me, I suppose, who have a vision for humanity, and they need the business skills, the visionary skills, all things I've worked with people for years on, because I've worked with some really big leaders, right? Helping them build a brand, work their energetics and their strategy in terms of like how to connect people to their vision so they can do great things in the world, and we actually start movements of change, right? I can't start a movement. I have to lead a movement so that you all become leaders of this movement, and then the energy builds and we change the world, right? So the reason things aren't forever in my world is because I have to go with what I'm being called to do. I work very closely with the divine. When I offer something, it may come up again. I don't plan it. I don't strategize it. I don't manipulate it. I go with the energy. I go with the flow. I go with what I'm told to do. I've learned to be obedient to God, right? So if you want to be in Sovereign, please email me. If you want to join on the 1st of April, just email me. So on that day, I'll give you the link, because I'm going to close the doors on it, and it would be a shame to miss out, because that is an opportunity. And it's not, I'm not saying it in any out of integrity-ness. I'm saying it because I don't know. I might open it again straight away. With what I've got going on in my life and what I'm here to do, this is a huge part of what I'm here to do. And there's also more that I do, right? So I have to balance the whole thing in integrity with what I'm being called to, right? So any questions, let me know. Please keep liking, subscribing and sharing. Lots of love, and I'll speak to you soon.